fury.
Meow. Oh, it's you. 1 second. Now activating chat mode. You made me jump there. I thought they'd finally caught me. Well, my heart rate did. Jumped up a little, I mean. Objectively speaking, the trouble was entirely of my own making. Half an hour ago, I was at Hotel de Boer for a drinks reception. It was to celebrate the successful opening of a show. Probably because I'm playing the lead role in the show? Is that so surprising? I'm always getting invitations to do solo performances. We took all the kids from the House of the Hearth out to see a film, and after it finished, they all started Anyway, it just so happened that a director called Mary had sent me an invitation right around then. Yep, you nailed it. I'm playing the role of a puppet. In fact, the show's called The Lost Puppet, and it's a masked mime show. So, I don't have to do any facial expression. Art is not comprehended by the mind, but felt in the heart. At least, that's what the director says. Anyway, at the drinks reception, everyone was crowding around me, saying, triumphant character portrayal, faithful but being the center of attention is draining. So the other thing is, some weird... Oh, sorry, Bonnie. I didn't mean to leave you out of the conversation. My bad. No, we just met. We bumped into each other right after I slipped away. Well, it'd be kind of difficult for us to communicate otherwise. Besides, I think she's taken a liking to the name. Haven't you, Bonnie? Yeah, that's right. Good kitty. We'll go find your owner soon, I promise. Nope. She's wearing a collar, and for the most part, she's pretty well groomed. If she is a stray, her stomach's been growling a lot. I guess she must have been missing for a few days now. As much as I'd love to hang out with her for a while, but the reception... I should probably show my face there again at some point, even if... Well, I just find it exhausting, thinking through all the different ramifications of different choices and so on. It's fine. He got Fremine to make me a little something for just this... Poof! A phaetometer. It looks pretty over the top, I know, but it's essentially just a box of cards. He kept the design simple, so it'd be hard. The way it works is, I pick a card at random, then look at the number on the card. Well, for example, if the number on the card is 5 or higher, I just have to believe in the bond between me and my cards, and my fate will reveal itself to me in numerical form. Huh, I didn't like that. Was I using it wrong? Maybe if I just... Clearly, there's some design flaws to iron. Let's see... 4. Well, the cards fell... If you want to get the right answer, you have to let fate decide. So, to put it another way, if picking a card up off the ground is how to not leave it to fate, then that means it must be the wrong answer. Or... Why don't you pick a card? Since I ran into you here... Thank you. This one is final, I promise. Here, take the phaetometer. If it's 5 or above, that means fate successfully changed. Anything lower than 5 is a fail. Also, if you have your own thoughts about what I should do, feel free to share it. Now that I've got a good problem solver here to help, I don't need to run every little thing by fate. Alright. Then let's... looking for Bonnie's owner? There's 20 cards in total, numbered 1 to 20. So there's only a 1 in 5 chance of drawing less than a 5. I should also mention, this time the cutoff was 5, but to put it in perspective, I said I'd only do the show if I drew a 1. I think I'll go to the Steambird and see if...
Every stupendous day starts with a Steambird. Oh, hi Lynette. Hi Traveler. What can I help you with? I don't think so. Have you...
Yep. If there's no commission to follow up on, could...
Why, of course. What a kind thing.
Well, we've registered you as missing. You can stay at my place until your owner finds... Also, I just wanted to say... Well, I should probably head back to the drinks reception. Hopefully most of the people have... If you've got some time, you should stop by my place tomorrow to see Bonnie. Alright, see you then.
Blow on forever. The wind rises.
I believe this cat belongs to me.
I already told you, this isn't your cat.
Just take a breather, you two. Oh, you're here. As you can probably see, you'll have to take a rain check on that tea I promised you. At least for now.
This is my friend's cat. He's preoccupied with some important business, so I...
No, it's far more likely this cat escaped from the Humane Society. Bonnie?
That's the name I've given her. Well, this complicates things.
I told you before. This is my friend's cat. It's normal for her not to trust me.
Listen, I'm the director of the Humane Society, okay? We've got so many strays, dogs, cats, you name it. I'm not even the one feeding them most of the time. She just looked somewhat familiar, so I came to check, just in case. If she turns out to be one of ours, I'll take her back. Simple as that. Even if that's not the case, the Humane Society could still take her in if, we're an organization that specializes in rescuing and sheltering stray animals. We've been in business for several decades now. I'm Bernard, the current director.
The Humane Society. Huh. The name sounds familiar.
Yes, that's the one. Anyway, if it's not too much trouble, could I possibly take a closer look at... If it turns out I really am mistaken, I suppose that means the cat belongs to this lady here. She would be the only remaining option, after all.
It belongs to my friend.
Go on, Bonnie.
Oh, nope. Looks like I was mistaken. They do look similar, but there's an ever so slight difference in this one's fur color. Deepest apologies, friends. Well, I suppose this means I still have a missing cat to search for. Apologies again for the confusion.
Wait a second. You lied earlier, didn't you?
Lied? I'm afraid I don't know what you...
A liar always has a tell. The look in their eyes, their breathing pattern.
What are you talking about? The way I see it, you're conflating baseless...
Normally, when someone is called out, their breathing speeds up as they begin to panic. But your breathing pattern hasn't changed one bit. If you're a bad guy, I'm sure you'll take off running the first chance you get. If you're a good guy, the most likely explanation is that you're a member of the guards, or some similar...
And you're basing this off of?
Intuition. Nothing more.
Intuition. Well, I have to hand it to you, Lynette. You're right. I'm a member of the Guards. The name's Elodie. I'm currently investigating a cross-border smuggling case. A couple of days ago, our suspect got wind that we were on his tail and fled. That's most likely how he got separated. I just so happened to stumble upon your notice in the Steambird. So, I decided to see if he'd come back for her. The impact of this case has been huge. The Marechaussee Phantom, the Guards, and the Special Patrol have all launched investigation. A new kind of illegal drug. Imitation synth. We confiscated all the synth on the market, but addiction isn't something that goes away overnight. Even without substance, and criminals are all too eager to capitalize on that addiction. That was the impetus for imitation synth. Needless to say, after the original synth debacle, we put several measures into place to prevent similar incidents from occurring. The perpetrators got smart, though, and shifted their sales over. We only recently got word of the presence of imitation synth overseas. We managed to track down evidence of some early transactions. The Marechaussee Phantom launched an investigation to track down every person in Fontaine capable of producing a drug like that. He's a researcher at the Fontaine Research Institute. His name is Pierre. Pierre
Lefebvre.
The Marechaussee Phantom found him in Poisson. At first, there wasn't much cause for suspicion. A search of his house didn't reveal much to go off of either. It was only later that we realized the coat of arms on his pendant belonged to none other than the Lefebvre. Obviously, this discovery prompted a further investigation into Pierre. At that point, however...
That's not possible, actually. The Lefebvre family.
Exactly. Many years ago, several important members of the family, including the Patriarch, were murdered by an assassin of unknown origin. The family is engaged in all manner of crimes. As you can imagine, there's no shortage of people waiting in the wings to take their revenge. And with the family severely weakened, Pierre is one of those very survivors. He's been hiding away in the Fontaine Research Institute all these years. Well, my fellow guards have told me all about how smart and courageous you both are. And I know you possess There could be a chance that Pierre, or one of his accomplices, might attempt to get close to Bonnie. Now that you've been briefed on the situation, I was hoping... If I take Bonnie back to the Guards with me, there's no way Pierre will try and come for her. I have to admit, I'm not holding out too much hope that Pierre will come back for her. But if there's even the slightest... Well, I've got some other leads to follow up on. If Pierre does appear, please contact me right away.
It's nothing. I'm fine. It's just... the head of the Lefebvre family. He was the eminent person who kidnapped me all those years. It was at a dinner party. Someone tricked me into boarding the Lefebvre family carriage. Whoever it was, they took me back to their home. But before anything worse could happen, Father intervened. Yep. Father was the one who orchestrated the fall of the Lefebvre family. That's what led Lenny and I to join the House of the Hearth. After all these years. I never thought I'd hear the Lefebvre name again. Don't worry about me. I wasn't feeling sorry for myself. I was just thinking about Lenny. He's been acting strange recently. He avoids me for days on end, consumes himself with some thinking about it now. It's almost like the one I drew from that deck of cards was part of his plan all along. It's very possible. I'm sure he tried to send me away because he was afraid it would bring up some painful memories for me. Even after all these years, he's still as overprotective as ever. You'll have to help me teach him a lesson if we run into him along the way. Yep. I want to head to the Fontaine Research Institute to learn more information about Pierre. Just let me act a little bit of both, perhaps. For the most part, though, I just have the sense that something's not right. Something isn't Okay, I'll write a letter explaining everything to the crew. Once that's done, we can head out.
Lynette, you're, not at rehearsal?
You can drop the act, brother. In fact, I don't think either of us will have a need for acting anytime soon.
And that's why I tried to distract you with the masked mime show. But I guess you're just too good.
Care to introduce us to your new assistant?
This is Officer Shavras, captain of the Special Security and Surveillance.
Nice to see you. I should clarify something. Mr. Linney's here at my invitation, not the other way around. We've brought on Mr. Linney as a consultant in the past. He was instrumental in helping us crack a case involving a
So you've heard everything then?
That's exactly why we're here. There's always been questions surrounding the fall of the Lefebvre family. Whoever was behind it all was extremely cautious. They didn't leave a shred of evidence. This very fact, however, leads me to... I took a look at the entrance and exit records of all the carriages that night. Don't worry, I don't have any evidence to that effect, and I certainly don't plan on going to bat for such a I sought Mr. Linney's help with the smuggling case. Nothing more. The way I look at it, it's a collaboration between us as people, not the organizations we represent. Not at all. I was planning to invite you from the very beginning, Miss Lynette. It's just that my assistant here raised some objections.
Linny, I'm not the same person I was back then. That little girl who did nothing but cower in the corner in fear, she doesn't need saving anymore.
I'm sorry, Lynette. You're right. I let my concerns get the better of me.
Oh, and the next time you want to distract me, you should try a different...
Who's this? You pick up a stray while I was gone?
It's a bit complicated. I'll explain later.
Well, if there are no objections, then I suppose the only thing left to say is...
It appears the Lefebvre family was very particular in their use of insignias and emblems. The family would use different emblems to mark differences in status, blood relation, and the like. In fact, the insignia that was discovered on the pendant...
It's highly likely. That very status might have been what allowed him to emerge from the fall of his family relatively unscathed.
We discovered something interesting, though. After talking to some of his co-workers, it appears he pretty much works at the Institute.
Apparently, Pierre was once addicted to synth. He tried to use the resources at the Institute to create a substance with a similar effect. He claimed it was just for research purposes, but the Institute revoked his access to the relevant materials regardless. He was placed on disciplinary leave, pending a thorough investigation of his act. But it seems the Institute ran into some trouble along the way. Could have been a lack of personnel or a timing issue. In any case, as for his family background, it appears none of his co-workers at the Institute were aware of that information. Other than the pendant, we didn't find anything else of note at his residence in Poisson. Based on the samples of imitation synth we've been able to analyze, it appears the substance leaves behind strong traces wherever it's produced or stored. Those traces might not be obvious to the casual observer, but they're not something our guard poodles would miss. Pierre's home, though, came up completely clean. We didn't find any records indicating possible involvement in overseas transactions either. So, the Marechaussee Phantom didn't view him as a major suspect at first.
Maybe he had a separate, dedicated area where he made the imitation synth.
Well, his neighbors did say he was often gone for long stretches of time. You would think with him out and about so much, if his reclusive nature was just a matter of keeping a low profile, I guess it would make sense for him to have a secret base to carry...
After he disappeared, the guards conducted a thorough search of Poisson, but they didn't come across any suspicious
Poisson. You know Hotel de Boer, where I first found Bonnie? To get there from Poisson, you have...
A cat?
Bonnie is Pierre's cat.
Oh, that's right! When the Marechaussee Phantom first tracked him down,
From what we've learned about Pierre's habits, he doesn't seem like the type to venture out without a purpose. So what...
Exactly. Bonnie might even...
Wait, you think the cat can lead us there? But she's not trained like one of our guard poodles. How is she supposed to understand what we want her to do?
Guess she's a little skittish around strangers. Meow. Meow meow. Meow? Near the coast, the beach, and beneath the cliffs. The place we're looking for is most likely north of the court of Fontaine.
Well, I've certainly never taken a witness statement like this before.
Well, if it works out, maybe it's something worth getting used to.
Cats and humans are actually pretty alike. When it comes to communication, most of what we want to convey can be accomplished through body language alone. Of course, body language has its limitations.
The important thing is that we now have a lead. Let's try and find a place that matches the clues Bonnie...
Seems like Bonnie is trying to take us somewhere. Gardemex ahead.
Look out!
Right now. Right here. Hold the line.
One with nature. How amusing.
Emerge. Right here. Right now. Nothing lasts forever. Emerge. Right. Emerge.
Clouds high, the birds call. Into the wind. Too slow.
Wow, Lynette, you found this place so easily. If I thought there was any chance you'd say yes,
Sounds familiar. I pretty much receive letters daily from people trying...
Let's just focus on our search. There's a lot to investigate.
Aha! Just as we thought. Looks like he's got more than just imitation synths stashed around. These cleaning agents are likely used to dispel. The Special Patrol did some digging into It must have taken a But what are these other drugs for?
The material these bags are made of, it's the very same, actually. Romaritime flower fiber. Even the strings look specially designed to keep the bags closed. I came across some bags made of the same material just now, but they were much smaller and thinner. Very similar, actually. Normally, it would be easy for a guard poodle to sniff out the imitation synth, but what could these big bags be for then? If the goal is to keep the imitation synth hidden and
When the Marechaussee Phantom searched Pierre's house, there was no sign of these barrels, right? You're right. That doesn't seem like his way of doing things. Only the lower halves of the barrels appear to have been submerged in water.
Based on the various ingredients we've found, it looks like he used a special cleaning agent to get rid of any residual traces of the substance on his person before he left.
So then he transferred the imitation synth into small sealed bags.
No. I don't believe our suspect is the kind of person who'd go the cleaning agent and the sealed bag.
The barrels we found were wet around the base, but the top half was dry. As if they'd been standing upright and... If you put a barrel in the water, it will normally float on its side. Unless...
Yes. With flotation rings around the body of the barrels, they'd stay upright in the water.
You think he used floating barrels? I suppose if he acted at night.
But then, wouldn't the barrels be carried off by the waves?
Traveler, can you come take a dip in the sea with me? I have a feeling that somewhere down there...
Behold!
The wreckage of a small boat? This isn't the place. This isn't the place. Got it. Time to go out and report.
Squall and fury!
As expected, we found a few pieces of rope and some anchoring stones. With this anchoring system, it would be possible to use... We also came across the wreckage of a small boat.
Let's talk this through. Based on the evidence we've collected, it seems like Pierre would row a small boat out to the agreed-upon...
It could be that he was trying to avoid meeting up with his associate face to face.
It seems like Pierre deliberately chose the floating barrel method.
Well, if that's the case, they must not have a very close...
Let's not jump to any conclusions just yet. The most important thing is that we can now confirm Pierre wasn't acting... Let's say for now that he was only in charge of producing the imitation synth.
Since we've determined that the goods were transported by boat,
we can certainly check the various ports for that information. It's possible, however, that Pierre's associate also used a small boat for the transport. Absolutely. Before Pierre disappeared, we made sure to investigate all sorts of outward... Unfortunately, we were never able to find out how they managed to get the... You're right. Whatever vessel was used for the pickup, the person responsible for smuggling the substance out of Fontaine would have had to use a larger... They must have found a way to disguise the imitation synth to clear... Exactly. We can't let any opportunities slip through the cracks.
I'll run home and ask some of my brothers and sisters.
I should also head back and update my platoon on our progress. I'll grab some reinforcements.
All right. Come on, Bonnie. You...
The wind rises.
Oh, Lynette, Traveler. And Bonnie, too. What brings you all here?
Did something happen?
Oh. I see. Thank you for everything you're doing. I'm in charge of guarding the port. You mentioned you were after some travel logs, right? I can go fetch those for you.
Looks like I've got another hard day of work ahead of me. No, not usually. It's this incident that happened recently. Before that, everything was normal. But things are much more complicated now. We somehow let suspicious cargo pass through the port undetected. Not even our guard poodles were able to sniff it out.
By suspicious cargo, do you mean imitation synth?
Yep. However, prohibited substances are just one example. We confiscate all sorts of contraband during the course of our inspections. Or at least, we're supposed to.
So what happens to the goods you confiscate?
Oh, We keep them in a storage locker. If they turn out to be something particularly dubious, if the goods are only slightly suspicious but could otherwise be harmless, like raw materials that could potentially be used to create contraband, we return.
Sorry for the wait. These are the travel logs for all the recent activities.
Oh, you brought Gerard with you.
Actually, he followed me here himself. It's like he smells... Huh. I wonder why Gerard is reacting to you two so strongly.
Huh? We were so careful not to touch it, but we still ended up with traces on us. If it leaves...
Why don't you have a look at the travel logs first? All ships coming in and out of the port are recorded here.
The Humane Society. Their name is all over the exit logs.
The director of the organization explained that, actually. He said a lot of the cat and dog breeds unique to Fontaine are also very popular.
Bernard, the director of the Humane Society, was the... Have you figured it out too, Traveler? When Bernard asked to take a closer look at Bonnie, he was actually checking what...
Wait, what?
The sealed bags we found at the secret base. They were specially made to be corrosion. There were gaps around the lids of the barrels, and airbags were used to keep them... Those drug shovers found at the secret base. She most likely didn't recognize them because they're not... Pierre must have made the animals swallow the sealed bags.
The sealed bags combined with an animal's body odor would certainly...
During our inspections, we would...
Exactly. I bet Bernard... she's probably in the clear. Otherwise, just imagine. He sees the notice we put in the Steambird, and it turns out that if Pierre had already hidden the next batch of imitation synth, then Bonnie would practically be...
So... that's why he came to find you?
Wait a second, I'm a little lost here. I get the part about hiding the substance in the pets, but those... if you've got something as convenient as a floating barrel, why not just...
In order to make sure the animals could swallow the sealed... That step would have required a lot of energy. We've already proven how easy it is to pick up trace amounts of imitation...
Okay. Then, let's head to the Humane Society right away. The headquarters of the Humane Society should be somewhere around here.
Ah, you're the people from earlier. Wait.
After him! We can't let him get away! Give it up, Bernard.
Mercy. Have mercy. I'll talk.
The Humane Society has done so much good over the years.
Look, I didn't have a choice, okay? My father cared about those blasted animals so much, he didn't bother to take care of it.
No one asked. Tell me, how did you first get to know Pierre?
Well, after I took over the Humane Society, it gradually became harder and harder to maintain. It's said that I could stand to get a large sum of money as long as I helped them to transport some animals abroad. It was only but then Pierre wrote to me, saying that we were already partners in crime and that I better keep... I would order wooden barrels and flotation devices according to his instructions, and then load the sleeping animal. And a few days after that, I'd come by again in my boat and pick up the animals sleeping in the barrels. That guy, Pierre, he was running the entire show. He set up all the meeting times and found all the... Look, I don't know, okay? I've never ever...
And when did he send his final letter to you?
Just last night. He said that the Marshalsea Phantom is now after him, so he's planning to go into hiding for some time. He didn't mention...
It's been a few days since Pierre's last appearance. I'd wager that he sent that letter...
I burned them. It was on his orders. I had to burn every letter after reading them. I wasn't even allowed to share them.
Sure sounds like you're trying to use the lack of witnesses or evidence to pin the blame on Pierre.
No, I swear, this time I'm only telling you...
Well, we can check the truth of your statements at the Opera House. I hope you know what'll be coming for you if
I know, I swear I was just telling the truth.
My thanks to you both. Had it not been for you, I really don't know what would have happened.
Bonnie helped, too.
That's true. It was all thanks to her that Bernard was finally exposed. And it looks like she's grown quite fond of you two as well. Then I'll leave you be. Just let me know if you find any other new leads.
It was that obvious, huh? Well, even though it didn't feel like Bernard was lying, after talking to him, we investigated so quickly that perhaps we've missed a thing or two along the way. Let me activate deduction mode. Is there still anything unresolved or strange that we should try to consider? Bernard claims to have received a letter last night from Pierre. In the letter, Pierre stated that he had gone into hiding. There's no need to rush. Let's see if we can find any other suspicious points about... The Marechaussee Phantom found Bonnie and the Lefebvre pendant at Pierre's residence. Why would he leave such an obvious trail for us to follow when he... Well, we've discovered that Bernard is responsible for the... There's no need to rush. Let's see if we can find any other suspicious points of...
Now behave, and follow me to the interrogation room.
Ow! That hurt. Ow!
Is everything really over? I still feel like the relationship between Pierre and Bernard is not as... Also, I've had this strange sense that something's off the entire time we've been on the case. Ugh. No good. I've still got nothing, and I'm nearly out of energy. All right, I'll stop thinking about it for now. At the very least, we've made it so that no more animals will suffer like those poor animals did. Let's go to the Humane Society and see if there are any animals left that before my energy for today completely runs out.